entitled Terumot Maasair number 2. It's a series of the halachot on Terumot Maasair. The first shiur we learned about today, is it biblical or not? We don't have the Mikdash. So the halachot is not dependent on the Mikdash, it's dependent on Rov having the majority. According to the Rambam, according to the Ravid, he says that no, only Hafrashat Chal is dependent on the majority of Jews here. Terumot Maasair is not, and it's D'oraita, even without the majority. But the Shulchan Aruch seems to conclude, like the Shulchan Aruch, that we need to have a majority. So today it's Rabbanan. And Yetz Hashem, soon nowadays we're going to have the Rov, we'll have the Mikdash. It'll be D'oraita once we have Rov, and Yetz Hashem will have the Mikdash as well. What about the produce? Which produce are we obligated from the Torah? So in Devarim Yud Chet, it says, Reisha Tigancha Tirosh V'Tzarecha. So Digancha is the grains, the 5 grains. Tirosh Chavitzach, Tirosh is wine, grapes and wine. V'Tzarecha is oil, olives. So are those the only biblical foods that one has to take Terumot Maasair, and everything else is Drabanan? Legumes, vegetables are Drabanan. Rambam says no. In Hilchot Terumot, Perek Bet, he says that the pasuk in Yud Chet in Devarim is giving examples of different kinds of foods, but all the grains, all the legumes, the kitniot are from the Torah, and all the fruits are from the Torah. The Rambam does admit that vegetables not, because it has to be something similar to the pasuk, and therefore fruits, all fruits just like olive and grapes, and all legumes, because they're considered the gancha grains. But vegetables are not, and therefore they be drabanan. Other Rishonim, many Rishonim say, that Rashi, Ravid, that no. The only thing that's from the Torah, the only produce from the Torah is the gancha, the grains, the 5 grains, tiroshcha, wine, grapes, and yitzarecha, olives and oils. That's it. Those 3 categories. And everything else is drabanan. Not such a big machloka in the Rambam and the Ravid, because they all agreed, Lamaisa, we have to tithe everything, all the foods. However, in terms of the right, the Rabbanan, there is a machloka. It's safek, a case of safek, there'd be room to be lenient in rabbinic cases and things like that. So then, in some, according to the Rambam, all grains, legumes, fruits are all from the Torah. Well, according to the Ravid, Rashi, and others, the 5 grains and grapes and olives, and just that is from the Torah, and everything else would be Drabanan. Shalom.